Hey, what's up everybody? In this video, we're gonna take a look at It's a Small World Mini from Mickey and Friends. And boy, it's a really long name to say this soon, so I'm just gonna refer to her as Small World Mini. She probably has the longest name in this game by far. But anyways, her ability, it's going to be lets you connect different Tsums and clear the surrounding ones. So the ability description is nothing new. It's a very similar Tsum that we've seen in the past, where you create a long chain and it will pop surrounding Tsums, which we'll get into a little bit later. So the demonstration that you're currently watching is a skill level 1 demonstration. And as you level up Small World Mini, the amount of Tsums that you'll need to activate her ability will decrease every time you level her up twice. So for skill level 1 and 2, it will require 14. Skill level 3 and 4 will require 13. And skill level 5 and 6 will require 13 and 12. As you can see at the bottom right hand corner, that chart will tell you how many Tsums you'll need to level up her ability. Another thing that will change is the amount of chains that you could connect. So during the ability at skill level 1, the chain size is always going to be a size of 6. It won't be any longer, but it will be shorter. So make sure you maximize the chain as you connect them and make sure that you drag it all the way through. Now, again, the Tsum change will require is between 12 to 14 to fully charge up her ability. The minimum score is going to be 110 to 992 for maximum score. So not necessarily super amazing for maximum score, but it's a pretty decent one. It's not too bad, but it's not great either. And if you do want to get Small World Mini to a skill level 6 Tsum, it will require you to get a total of 29 copies of her. And out of the 4 new ones for this month, Small World Mini is one of my favorite ones out of the 4. But I'll get into that in a little bit later. What I do want to show you guys right now is a side-by-side comparison of skill level 1, 2, and 3. And like I mentioned, the 3 different Tsums here that you're seeing on the screen will just be the chains that you're going to get. Will be a little bit longer as you level up her skill level. And the skill the Tsums that is required to activate her ability will decrease from skill level 2 to 3, but will remain the same for skill level 1 and 2. Now, I do want to talk a little bit about strategy and some tips and tricks that I would have for you guys when you are using Small World Mini. And these are things that I learned when I played her at skill level 6, so you might not necessarily fully see that in these 3 game demonstration. But ultimately, what you want to do is when you are in her ability or when you activate her ability, there will be a time where the Tsums are still falling. So when the Tsums are falling, make sure that before you make the trace, that you give that a couple of seconds to let all the Tsums settle so that way you're maximizing the chain count. Another thing that you want to do is make sure you burst the bubbles as they show up on the screen. The reason being for that is because when you are making that trace, it will pop surrounding Tsums as well. But if you have a bubble that's blocking it, it's going to decrease the amount of chains that you're going to have or the burst that you're going to have. Therefore, you're going to earn a lot less coins. And the third thing that you want to do is during Small World Mini's ability, keep an eye out on where Small World Minis are during the ability activation. And those are areas that you might want to either start the trace or end your trace there to make sure that a bunch of Small World Mini is cleared. So that way all of those that are burst will go into the next charge up bar, which when that happens, you'll be able to activate a lot more Small World Mini per game. And every time you activate her ability, you're getting 20 to 30 clears per chain. And the more chains that you're going to have, or the higher the chains, you're going to get a lot more coins. Now, let me talk you through how the strategy actually works. So I'm going to slow it down while I activate these ability at the same time. So what we see here is Small World Mini activated and it's on the boat. So I'm going to slow it down here and walk you through what I am doing. So as I activate the ability, I'm quickly scanning where Small World Minis are. And that's where I'm going to start making those chains. I'm going to start making chains near or end where the Small World Minis are. Now, if this part is a little bit confusing to you or it's a little bit too complicated, that's okay, because that's how it was early on for me as well. And at these lower skill levels, what you could do is draw a diagonal trace like I am here and start roughly at the bottom left hand corner to the top right hand corner. What you want to avoid is tracing it at the very corner, because keep in mind that this ability will pop surrounding Tsums, and if you are tracing at the edge of the gameplay here, then you're not going to clear surrounding Tsums because there's nothing to clear. Another thing is you want to try to draw as straight as possible because it will pop surrounding Tsums. So the more surface area the bursts have, the more Tsums it's going to clear. And take a look at skill level 1. The chain is always going to be 6, skill level 2 will be 7, and skill level 3 will be 8. And these are maximum numbers. They definitely could be less, which is why earlier I mentioned that you should definitely make sure that you trace it completely. And after you make a full complete trace, the entire screen will go black like you see here. So that's when you'll know that the trace is completed. Now I'm going to skip one frame here and just skip forward to show you that this is the size that you're going to have when you are bursting surrounding Tsum. So look at the areas that is surrounded by the trace that we had. So not only that line of trace will be cleared, but any Tsum that is touching the bubble that you trace will also be bursted, or it will be cleared. So therefore, in theory, the longer your chain, the more Tsums you collect, the more Tsums it will burst in general, just overall. So therefore, get a longer chain. So I'm going to just play it forward here and show you what I earned for chains. So for skill level 1, I got a wonderful chain of 24. Skill level 2, I got a chain of 28. And skill level 3, I got a chain of 29. So again, the more chains that you have, the more coins you're going to earn. And the straighter your draws and the more bubbles that it touches, the more it's going to burst. And if you look at skill level 2 and 3, I do have some bubbles on the screen, which might have impacted the amount of chains that I'm actually able to earn. So if I didn't have those bubbles there, I might have been able to get 1 or 2 more chains there. But regardless, it's still a really amazing Tsum and got a lot of chains clear even at skill level 1, 2, and 3. Now, what I also want to bring to your attention is, earlier I mentioned to try to trace around Small World Minnie, and this is the reason why. So if you take a look at the bars at the very bottom, a lot of them is already almost fully charged. And at skill level 2, I was able to completely charge another one based on how I cleared a bunch of Tsums when I did the trace. So keep that in mind when you are tracing, that you definitely want to focus on clearing areas that have a lot of Small World Minis. And if you don't want to bother with that, then just do a diagonal clear, starting from the bottom left hand corner to the top right, or top right to the bottom left. It doesn't really matter as long as it's diagonal. Now I also want to show you guys the end of this gameplay here to show you what I earned for coins. At skill level 1, I got 1,498. Skill level 2, I got 1,652. And at skill level 3, I got 1,951. So these 3 skill levels aren't necessarily that great yet. I think that when I was playing these game demonstration, I haven't perfected them yet. So you could definitely earn a lot more coins than I did here. I would expect somewhere in the 2000s if you were able to just practice with her. And I actually played a couple more games. I just decided to not add it to this video. But at skill level 3, I was able to get low 2000s. Skill level 2, I was able to get 1700. And at skill level 1, I was able to get 1400, 1500 range, so 1500. So that was pretty standard and average, I would say. So that's pretty much it for this video. I will make a video for skill level 4, 5, and 6 tomorrow. So if you are looking for Small World Minnie at skill level 4, 5, and 6, so definitely stay tuned. I will be posting that very shortly. And as always, I appreciate you guys watching this video. And if you have any questions about Small World Minnie, definitely leave in the comments below. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching.